Thanks. Just to clarify, it's Curtis John Garrison. My online name, long story, I had to use a different name because, anyway. Okay, sorry about that. I'm Curtis John Garrison. Who am I? All right. I'm a little cloudy right now, thank you, because Michael's speech, I'm sorry, I just haven't heard. This is a long journey to get to this day, is what I'm trying to say. So my name is Curtis Garrison, and I'm a Boy Scouts child sex abuse survivor. And some of my abuse happened in Louisiana, where the troop was, and it happened in Arkansas, where the camp and canoeing happened, and also in Texas, where I've been here since the late 1980s. Over the years, I tried countless times to get help. But I kept getting silenced. I'm sorry, guys. I was silenced by fear, shame, intimidation, and a scout law. Gosh. That taught me to be too loyal, obedient, and reverent. Time had passed, and I got through college. Gosh, I hope you can hear me. I got through college. I started a corporate job, but all along I was struggling because I felt guilt and fear, continuing to see other kids getting abused and nobody doing anything about it. Nobody in the right leader positions that had the ability would do anything about it. Then I was silenced because I waited too long, and I saw the statute of limitations. I mean, I was looking it up and expired. And the worst thing that hit me about that is you're looking at the different states, and just out of luck, you may or may not have a chance because of a law, not because of the crime. Wherever you are, the laws are different, and that's abusing the survivors if they don't have a law that supports the survivors. Why would there be laws to protect child rapists and silence child abuse survivors? Makes no total, it's crazy. People that create and support laws that do this are passive perpetrators. They're not committing the actual abuse, but they're passively abusing these survivors. Try to remember any institution that has ever come forward and said, we've got a perpetrator that is abusing our people and we're going to get rid of them, we're going to address it. And they only will do it if they're forced to by external forces. Why is that? Aren't the churches and the schools supposed to take care of our kids and take the action needed without people getting together and building an army, changing laws to force them to do it? 4 decades had passed. This was the early 80s when I was in Boy Scouts. I'm 54 in April. So it's been a while, and I desperately searched for a way to hold the Boy Scouts accountable. I finally hired the right attorney, which was part of the reason why the Boy Scouts ultimately filed for bankruptcy February 18th, 2020, right before the pandemic. We went up to Delaware, army of lawyers, all trying to figure out how they're going to control and address potentially thousands. It was only like maybe 10 or 8 to 10 everything, and it turned out to be, like Michael said, 82,000 claims. February the 18th, 2020 means that this 3 days from now, it'll be 3 years for this bankruptcy to drag on as people struggle dealing with this and being abused further by a system, a bankruptcy that is not meant to handle child sex abuse. We're not loaning them money that they owe us. We don't sell them products that they need to pay us for. We're people that were abused sexually by people they covered up and hid. Since then, the good news is Louisiana and Arkansas, these two states actually within the last year and a half to 2 years, opened their statute of limitations, along with 22 other states that have retroactive or revival statute of limitation laws. So Texas, it's time to reform our statute of limitations. Now, from my research, which I've done to make sure I don't get anything overclaimed or whatever, and from the bankruptcy notes details, I've got 3,092 confirmed at the least Boy Scout child sex abuse survivors in Texas alone that are claimants in the bankruptcy. Now, I just heard from Michael that it's like 5,000, and I'm sorry I went blank because I was blown away at the exact number, but I'm hoping there's a lot of past claims before the bankruptcy. In fact, if you look at the numbers throughout the years, it's 82,209 claims for the bankruptcy when they had a period to claim and file in the bankruptcy. All the years of their existence, it was 82,458. So I want to mention, that's in the bankruptcy documents. Okay, sorry. Throughout the years, they were up to like 2,000 or 3,000 almost every year. A few hundred, then the 2,000, and it started going down as they started using statute of limitations, NDAs, hotlines like the Mormon Church, Boy Scouts, like, hey, we need to help you. Okay, counseling, don't sue, don't, just let it go away. I'm really ad-libbing here a little bit, I'm sorry. So there's a lot, I know a lot personally that won't even come forward that didn't make a claim, and that's what really haunts me, is the people just won't even, they're very scared what people will think of their job, their family, don't want to cause them pain, all that. So with the 3,092 that I have, and it's a number in the bankruptcy for particular claims in Texas, I just want to give you an idea of what the 3,092 alone would mean, that if we gave them just 1 minute, 3,092 people, give them 1 minute to share their story, it would take 52 hours or 2 days straight that we would be here giving them just 1 minute. So that number is huge, but it's hard to understand how big of a number these are. And my question is, like, just how many does it take? How many do we know that we don't even know that they're survivors and they're struggling because they won't come forward and hold someone accountable? So the only way to stop a predator from harming another child is to allow those that have been harmed, maybe not the other way, I'm just saying you've got to allow the ones that were harmed to be able to come forward and hold them accountable so that it just doesn't keep happening. If this person is going to jail and this institution is no longer going to court and defending these people that are raping kids, then you're going to stop them and hold them accountable. If not, it's decades and decades and more repeated abuse kids. So Texas, I want to know why this state, why our state of Texas is not leading the country, showing them how to do this. How do we stop child sex abuse? How do we get laws and hold these people accountable? I want to know also why the churches and the schools, all these people are involved, because it's just the Boy Scouts with these organizations, their charters underneath them, that they're part of hiding these child abuse perpetrators, and they should all be champions to stop this child abuse and demand that survivors are never kept silent. So I don't know why it is that when an institution has child sex abuse so big of a problem that you hear jokes about it, SNL skits, memes, like, oh, it's just a funny thing and that's the way it is. It normalizes it so that when people finally come forward and are trying to protest against child abuse, people are offended that you're trying to attack the institution. But really, if the institution is involved in this and they are attacking, harassing, defaming the people that are abused, they must be held accountable. It's a real tragedy that there's so much pain and destruction in these families because you get divisions on who's going to support the child or who's going to try to hide it. You know, don't let the church get upset at us for making a claim. Don't let the family go through this. It's too painful. Forget it. All this is unnecessary to impact the child's life forever and never allow them to be the potential they could have been without that abuse. And it impacts their families, their communities, their religion. But all of this is allowed to be continued just simply for child rapists, these people that are doing this, to get gratified and have their power and control. It's about them that we need to address. And the institutions hiding them, whatever the reason they're hiding them, it's got to stop.
Hell yeah, bro. Hell yeah.
No one is above the law. They must all be held accountable. And if laws aren't holding people accountable, those laws have to change.
That's right. Yes, sir.
So, let me get some water. I appreciate it. I haven't spoken public like this for decades. So to all the child sex abuse survivors, we need to let you know that you're not alone. Unfortunately, there's just too many of us that have been allowed, people have been allowed to abuse us and harm too many people. But unfortunately, because there's so many of us, for the perpetrators, more of us are standing out, and we're going to speak out against child abuse and hold these people accountable like they've never seen before. To our state representatives and senators, you have two options. I know where you're at. You can vote to support Texas SOL reform, which will be the key to open the door and free child sex abuse survivors from a prison that has kept them silent. Or you can do something I can't understand and vote against it and keep helping the perpetrators that have and will continue to rape these children. Texas, it is now time we reform our statute of limitations. Thank you. Thank you.